Hi everyone, my name is Michael Carter and I'm a teacher, and in this video I wanted to give you 3 main reasons why I think all teachers should start using their own tutorial videos in the classrooms. So reason number 1, the universal design features that are already built into tutorial videos can help you reach students of all skill levels. Number 2, you can measure student engagement with a YouTube feature called audience retention. Lastly, using your own tutorial videos can help you help your students reach their learning outcomes. So I thought we'd have some fun with this and travel around downtown Toronto to 3 locations that relate to the 3 main reasons why I think all teachers should start including their own tutorial videos in the classroom. While we head to our first stop, let me give you some background as to why I began adding my own video tutorials into my courses. The first class I taught at a college level was our Microsoft Excel course. And to be honest, the experience was challenging. This was because I taught straight from the textbook. This worked for a few students, although many students struggled through the textbook activities and could not get the one-on-one instruction that they needed in a class of 40 students. On the other hand, some students completed the textbook activities with ease and left the classroom after 20 minutes without learning anything new or challenging. Then I started using my own video tutorials and the universal design features within the YouTube platform, which finally allowed me to reach students of all skill levels. I'll explain this in more detail, but let's discuss what universal design in education is first.
Change here for line 2. Doors will open on the right.
So our first stop is at the ballroom to learn more about universal design for learning and how it relates to tutorial videos. To do that, I'm going to borrow a clever analogy from Shelley Moore about how bowling relates to teaching. I'll put a link to Shelley's video in the description box of this video if you want to check out Shelley's video that explains UDL perfectly. To summarize, Shelley compares the bowling ball to our lesson plans, and the pins over there are our students that we teach. As most amateur bowlers do, we aim at the center of the pin. Why is that? Well, because it's the easiest to reach. However, it leaves us vulnerable to the worst shot in bowling, the 7-10 split. This is where the pins on the outside are left behind, and we have not only failed to reach the pins on this shot, but it is almost impossible to reach all the pins on the next shot too. If those pins represent our students, we just neglected our advanced students on one end and the ones who are struggling on the other. Professional bowlers avoid this mistake by throwing the ball at a curve, so they are aiming at the pins that are the hardest to reach, to maximize the chance of reaching all the pins. This is what UDL is all about, making a small change in the angle of our lesson plan that allows us to reach all students. Videos helped me to improve my Excel classes. Lower achieving students were able to master the material through videos as they could watch the video as many times as they needed until they mastered the procedures. They could also control the speed and pause the video at any time if it was going too fast, while my more advanced students could use the timestamps in the description box to skip to a certain part of the video for clarification, or click on an annotation that popped up to move to a more challenging topic. Teachers from Michigan State University also found that offering video screencasts as solutions to homework problems in an undergraduate engineering course leveled the playing field for students who were struggling with the homework. Interestingly, they also found that top-achieving students did not need to watch as many videos, and therefore, students could watch the videos based on their individual needs. Let's keep this bowling analogy going to summarize 3 ways in which tutorial videos help the universal design of your courses. If your aim is to help struggling students navigate through challenging concepts, videos can allow for students to watch as many times as they need to master the material. This choice benefits all students, as students can tailor their viewing habits to their individual needs. Secondly, captions in a video can help us aim to reach students with hearing challenges, but they can also help all students, as not all students have access to sound at home or in a library or a computer lab. In a recent survey I had my students complete, one said this about captions. The closed captions definitely made it more helpful because I could pause the video and actually read and understand what is happening, which highlights how helpful individual choice and captions can be. Lastly, think about a student with a physical disability where clicking a mouse might be difficult. Video can aim to help the student because videos can be played using a touchscreen instead. This ability to access a video without a keyboard or a mouse also benefits students who might be busy and could consume the learning from a video on any mobile device, which makes learning outside of the classroom more convenient for everyone. We're here at our second stop, the historic and romantic Distillery District. I can't guarantee that your students will love your tutorial videos, but I can show you how to measure student retention using YouTube Analytics so that you can make videos they will actually pay attention to. Instead of going through all of my videos and retention graphs, I want to show you 4 different types of retention graphs to give you an idea of some of the mistakes I have made and how to avoid them when you start creating your own videos. First, we have this long sloping graph. This is showing that this video is way too long to hold the attention of my students. As you can see, on average, students could only watch the first 8 minutes of this video, and only 23% of students could watch the whole thing. Now, a part of me is thinking, well, maybe the video itself is missing other engaging features.
Boring!
But if we look at the relative audience retention data, which compares this video to all videos of the same length on YouTube, this one actually did pretty well, as it maintains an above average engagement rate throughout the video. The reason for the low engagement numbers is simply because this video is too long. Researchers Gao and colleagues took data from 6.9 million videos in massive open online courses, and found that almost all students could remain engaged and watch the whole video if it was no longer than 6 minutes. Therefore, they found that the tutorial videos longer than 6 minutes were a wasted effort. So it's important to keep videos to 6 minutes or shorter. The second graph demonstrates a second mistake I have made, which is the speed or pacing of the video. These spikes represent when students have had to pause or go back to a certain point of the video. If this video was purely for entertainment, this might be a good sign, as the audience likes a certain part and is going back to it. But we are teachers, and if you get this type of retention graph, it means you are going too fast, and my students have let me know it. While Cynthia Brame suggests to talk in an enthusiastic and fast pace to increase engagement, there is a balance. This third graph shows a spike, but only in one part of the video. This means that my students only need help with one step and could have solved most of this case study on their own. I could have made a shorter video explaining this one step that everyone seemed to get stuck on. This is an example of the need to get right to the point when it comes to videos and try to avoid adding filler or unimportant information. This last retention graph is one of my best because the video is short, I created a script to improve the pacing, I improved my audio by eliminating background noise, and I outlined only key information that students needed. It's still not perfect, but it's an improvement. No trip to downtown Toronto would be complete without a visit to the CN Tower, and this summer I wanted to see if I could help my students reach their highest potential score on their Microsoft Office Specialist exams through tutorial videos. This is a standardized industry exam, and the passing grade is a 70% or higher. In 1997, Siegel and colleagues demonstrated that instructor-generated videos were superior in helping students learn accounting than traditional lecture-style classes. In 2007, Stefanis and colleagues showed that medical students who watched an instructor-generated video on laparoscopic surgery procedures multiple times and received little help from a professor mastered the procedure with fewer repetitions than students who received intense instructor feedback and only watched the same video once. There are a number of studies that show that instructional videos can help students reach their learning outcomes, but I wanted to see if my own tutorial videos are really helping my students to pass their Microsoft Office Specialist exams. When I first started teaching our Excel course 2 years ago, this is the message I got from our program coordinator. Just over 50% of students tended to pass the exam or score 70% or higher, while 37% of these students received an F or less than 50%. These numbers were consistent with my experience the first time I taught our Excel course. So this summer, I wanted to see if I could improve these numbers by heavily implementing video tutorials in and outside of the classroom. Being an organization member and proctor at my school allowed me to access the pass-fail rates of our students over the last 5 semesters. We'll start in the fall of 2017 because that is the first semester that we started using the Excel 2016 exam, which we still use currently. As you can see, the numbers on average for the pass-fail rate were about 50-50, and last summer there might have been a summer dip as student attendance tends to be low in the summer semesters. Last summer, only 40% of students passed their Excel exam. With this in mind, I had 2 goals this summer: to raise the pass rate by 10 to 15% over the 50% that it tends to be, and to lower the number of students who received an F grade by 10 to 15% from the 37% mentioned earlier. And here are the numbers for my students. Through 4 classes and with 93 students, 59 of them, or 72% of the total number of students, scored a 70% or higher to receive their Microsoft Office Specialist Certificate in Excel. Also, the number of students who scored less than 500 out of 1,000, or less than 50%, was just 17 of our 93 students, or 18%. Now, if we look a little closer at the different sections, sections 1, 2, and 4 were my flipped classroom groups because these were my blended classes, which means once a week we would meet and then they were responsible for watching the videos outside of the classroom so that they could come in and be active learners during our class time. The lowest scoring group met with me twice a week and did not receive the same amount of videos as we covered the tutorials in class. So as difficult as this is to admit, these numbers might support what Salman Khan mentions in his TED Talk, Let's Use Video to Reinvent Education, that our digital selves might be more effective than our in-person selves. I also wanted to get some student perspective on how they felt about using tutorial videos to study from their exams, so I administered a post-survey exam and found that from the 82 students who used the videos to study for the exams, 40 or almost half found them very helpful and another 40% found them extremely helpful. Now, I'm a little bit cautious about these numbers because the students could have exaggerated these numbers because they know I enjoy making video tutorials. So it would be interesting to see if these numbers were similar if another instructor had conducted this survey and the students knew I wouldn't see the results. Another interesting find from the survey was that while the majority of students found that the exams simulations plus solution videos were the best resource for studying, the highly engaging video series that I showed you earlier were a close second to that. Also, notice that almost no students chose the textbook as a favorite resource for studying for their exams. I won't conclude that video is superior to textbooks just from this survey, but what I can conclude is that the textbook that we are using right now is not a valuable resource for students studying for their exams, and yet we have designed our whole course outline around the textbook. This needs to change. So we're here at the Toronto Film School in Dundas Square to remind you that you don't have to be a film student to start producing your own tutorial videos. You can start by using a video recording and editing program called Camtasia 2019 to start making accessible, engaging, and effective video tutorials. And you can start right now by clicking on this annotation here, which will lead you to a short how-to video that will show you how to start making your own tutorial videos. Good luck, and I hope to see you there. Bye.